What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Don. We are back with another video. Today we got the Clippers in mind, man. We got the Clippers in mind. And I just want to say before I start, we just dropped the reaction video. What are you doing? Go check out the reactions. New content coming on the channel all the time. If you haven't seen that already, when you finish here, go check that out. JD Davidson. I checked out his high school mixtape. I was very impressed. Definitely leave a like, comment, rate, and subscribe if you enjoyed that content or this as well. And as always, man, you know I try to bring you guys the best content in the world. But hey, enough of that. Today we got to talk about the Clippers and Tyronn Lue. So apparently Tyronn Lue is the new coach of the LA Clippers. And my first thought really is why? Why would you hire him? You know, why would you hire Tyronn Lue as a full-time coach? Now, I know he was an assistant coach on the Clippers, and maybe you want to have a smooth transition. But before I specifically talk about him, there's an interesting article that came out yesterday that hinted, well, not hinted, basically explained one of the real big things that was going on in the LA Clipper camp was the fact that there were players that weren't happy with the preferential treatment that Kawhi Leonard was getting, you know? And why am I not surprised by this, yeah, he's a star player. For a guy that doesn't talk much, he does most of the stuff on the court, he's still a star player. A star player will get star perks, And now, okay, for a lot of the guys that were there before, Montrez, Lou, Beverly, you know, they might be rubbed the wrong way about this, but I feel like they shouldn't really have much say in that. And I think what ends up happening now, you have guys that are trying to fight for the team, and it appears now that when Kawhi joins, he kind of has his own little perks that sets him apart from everybody else, which doesn't go well in a team setting when everything is supposed to be one unit. I went on to read the article that often it would lead Kawhi to be late for team flights and stuff like that. That's annoying. See, and that's already a problem. You can't have that. And I always felt like Doc Rivers, he's a player's coach, he's really a player's first guy. And in these type of high pressure situations where you're trying to compete for a championship, it's not gonna fly, especially when you lose. That's the most important part. Especially when you lose. When you are winning, it's easy to hide these things. But the way they went out, now you're gonna see articles like this popping up because everybody's gonna blame these little things as the ultimate reason for losing, which is not everything, but it's part of it. Now, for me to go back to Tyronn Lue, why I can't see to understand this hire, simply because he's not an experienced coach. When he was in Cleveland, was he the coach? No, LeBron was the coach. Really, I believe he came after David Blatt or something like that. I think it was right after Blatt. And they basically hired him for the same reason they hired him in the Clippers now. He was the next guy up. He's like, okay, we're going to give you the position. But in Cleveland, listen to LeBron. Follow LeBron, you win a championship. You did. So now you have that on your resume, but I'm still looking at everything else. I'm like, you know what? If you took a lesser team, let me make up a example. Let's say you went to, what's a good example of like, not Milwaukee, Detroit. Let's say you went to Detroit and you did well there first, the Pistons. Now maybe I could understand why you would be in the running if you had like a good season, but not as an assistant. And the problem with him being the assistant, the article also mentioned that maybe that it's good because he has experienced all the rifts that have been going on within the camp, but now it's going to force you to pick a side, and you got to know what side you're on. Are you with the players? Or are you with Kawhi? Because I cannot see Tyronn Lue stepping up to Kawhi and saying, you know what, Kawhi, I know we were giving you these type of perks, but coming this season, you can't do that anymore. You think he's going to be able to tell Kawhi Leonard that? No. That's why I don't understand the hire. It needed to be an outside guy who is neutral. The only reason Doc got fired is because they didn't win, or at least they didn't make it to the final. I thought that if Doc would have made it to the finals, he'd probably still be here. But since he went out the way he did, now you gotta fire him. And I don't think Tyronn Lue's success depends on the success of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And I even really mentioned Paul George because I just think that Paul George has an off year. I think he's a great player, but I think something was wrong with him. Something was off with him. I don't know what it is. I don't want to make too many excuses for Paul George, but I really feel like Paul George is a lot better than people want to give him credit for. So I'm not going to go and be part of the bash bandwagon just yet. I want to give Paul another season just to see, get himself together. Maybe we can move out of this COVID by next basketball season and then see. Now, suggestions for head coach. Hey, Mark Jackson is always in my mind. Van Gundy. Other than that, can't really think off the top of my head. Maybe, I think the league would benefit from a Mark Jackson maybe, but there's something with Mark Jackson that people don't like. He's been in this commentary role for a lot of years now, off and on. He was before the Golden State job. Mark Jackson was a commentator. Then he got the job for a couple years, lost the job, goes back to commentating, and of course the year after they win the championship with Kerr, and Kerr looks like a hero. But that's besides the point. But yeah, let me know what you think of this hire, man. Tyronn Lue, I'm not a fan. And I think that ultimately it will lead to more of the same. It seems like the same type of cloth, same type of power structure with Tyronn Lue. It's not a neutral guy, so I don't expect much to change. You were part of the coaching staff last year, so that means you were basically doing the same things Doc was doing as far as handling the players. I can't see them cutting all that stuff out now because if Kawhi's not happy, this team is going nowhere. But that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like, comment, rate, subscribe if you enjoy these videos. It's your boy Don, and as always, I'll see y'all next time, man. Peace, I'm out.